Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Sorry again for missing these comments on Facebook and not getting back to you. I did completely overlook, and I apologize. I'm terrible at using Facebook as a communication device, and so I'm sorry that you had to get that out and that I didn't communicate with you better there.
Oh, hey, no worries at all. I know you're busy, and it's no big deal. But I do appreciate you giving me the time today to actually do this interview. Um,
Yep.
anyways, but I'm the Colorado beat writer for In Lacrosse We Trust, and I'd like to start this interview out with saying that I'm talking with Ken Clausen from the Denver Outlaws, 6th-round draft pick in the supplemental draft on December 11th. Happy to have you back with the Outlaws.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you play this season. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what prompted you to pick lacrosse as the sport of choice, and how long have you been playing?
Yeah. So I started playing lacrosse in sixth grade, and I grew up playing football. Played football my whole life. Started playing in first grade, and so had a liking for the physical nature of football, and obviously what I was able to see in lacrosse. I mean, honestly, I started playing lacrosse because I was absolutely horrible at baseball. Couldn't hit the ball to save my life, and so decided that after a one-hit season, it was about time to switch sports, and so yeah, pick up lacrosse stick. I played my first year as a goalie, actually, and that did not go as well as I would have liked. I was not the best at stopping the ball, but was able to get out of the cage and hit some people. And so after my first season in sixth grade, the coach put a defensive stick in my hands, and from seventh grade on, was playing defense in lacrosse.
Well, that's sweet. I know my son started playing in 6th grade, and he just adores the sport. Um, you predominantly play close defense, but I noticed that when I was talking with Chris Spangler, the new strength and conditioning coach for you guys, that he said that in the DU Outlaws game that you had played some LSM. Which of the two do you prefer? I mean, do you prefer more defense or LSM?
I've always played close defense has always been my main position. But even in college, I would, for certain games or certain situations, I'd either bump up on the wings and play some long stick, or jump up, and we might have thrown two poles on a team and tried to throw them off that way. So long stick's always kind of been, I've always enjoyed the ability to be able to kind of play both and play close or long stick. I think that long stick is definitely more offensive. You have some more offensive opportunities. I think, especially as of late, that's really progressed in the game. You see more of these long stick players with an offensive mindset and making things happen down the field. Close defense, I like in the sense that you never leave the field. I don't like missing an opportunity to make a play or having to come off the field or things like that. So I like both. They both have certain characteristics or unique kind of opportunities that they each present. But I think heading into the season, I think that honestly for me, after so many injuries, I just want to be able to crack a roster and be able to help the Outlaws in whatever way I can. If that happens to be a long stick, I'd be happy to do it. If that happens to be a close stick, I'd be happy to do that or a close defense. I'd be happy to do that as well. I'm really couldn't be happier to be back on the field or to be back on the roster and have the ability to kind of get out there and make some things happen. And so wherever I can help the team best succeed, I'll go there in a second and do my best there.
Okay. Now, are you a righty or a lefty? Because I looked at all your stats. I've read so many stats about you before I wrote that article for In Lacrosse We Trust, and I can't find anywhere where it tells if you're a lefty or a righty.
Yeah, I'm a right-handed
Okay.
player.
All right. So not a lefty. Okay. Which side do you prefer the offensive player to be on? I mean, what do you feel is your strongest side as far as being a defender?
Well, I think it's kind of I guess it depends. Normally, a lot of times when you're playing close defense, they'll stick right-handed defenders on the left-handed attackman. That way, my stick's always in front of the guy. I can really disrupt him and try and cause some problems in that regard. I don't really have a preference in terms of what side I'm on. I feel like I can make it work on any of the sides. I think in terms of one of the things that I like to do as a defenseman is to take the ball away and to strip the offensive guy with the ball. For me, that a lot of times is having a guy in the right hand. When he's in his right hand, I have the ability to throw some more checks and make some things happen. So it kind of depends on the situation of what we're trying to do, but I really don't have a preference. I've been able to play on the crease or play the guy at X, play the left wing, right wing, whatever it may be. I feel pretty comfortable going. I've never, even in college, it was more matchup based rather than position based. They put us on the guy that we felt we could do best defense. I've never really tried or never really had to solidify myself on kind of one edge or the other. Rather just focused on the person that I was covering.
Okay. All right. So tell me, how did you first injure your knee, and what actual injury did you sustain?
Yeah, so I injured my knee. I first injured my knee in December of 2010. So about 3 years ago at Mammoth, with the Colorado Mammoth, and so it was our first indoor scrimmage. And our first scrimmage for the season, and got in and tore my ACL in the first scrimmage, and so I blew my knee out. Yeah, December 2010, I tore my knee with the Mammoth, and then I had surgery, and about 7 months later, in July, maybe end of June, early July, right around that time period, I tore my ACL again with the Outlaws.
Oh, jeez.
At my first practice back. Tore my knee again, and then had surgery, and about 4 months later, back in December, so a year from my original tear, was at a clinic and coaching and blew my knee out, tore my ACL for a third time.
Wow.
3 times in a year, and then had another surgery, a third surgery in March of 2012. To kind of take out the screws and clean it up, and did like a bone graft to just kind of heal the bone and kind of give the doctor a clean slate to work on. And then in end of October 2012, had a fourth surgery and repaired my ACL and my LCL.
Okay.
And so yeah, 3 ACLs, 4 surgeries, and yeah, quite a bit of rehab in between there as well.
Yeah. What kinds of rehab and training, exercises, that kind of thing, have they got you on right now? And what have you found has been the most beneficial to rehabbing your knee?
Yeah, I think that, well, for me, the whole rehab, I was fortunate to go through my whole college career, starting every game, never missed a game. I never really had a serious injury in sports ever, at least one that you couldn't kind of push through. And what I mean by that is that with the knee injury, it had nothing to do with a pain tolerance. You couldn't tough it out. You couldn't go out there and just make it work. You had to give it time, and you had to let it heal, and that was something that I never really had to deal with. And so, so for the past 3 years now, it's been a lot of just strengthening the muscles around the knee. So strengthening the quad and strengthening the hamstring, doing the calf, everything you can do to build up the muscles around the knee. And so, for a majority of the rehab, it's really a lot of just standard single leg lifts or box lifts or box jumps, all straightforward and backward motions to try and get that knee strength back to where it needs to be, get it back to the right leg or even perhaps stronger at this point. And then, once we feel that the knee is getting strong enough, then we start working on, we start progressing towards some lateral movements and start kind of incorporating some sideways jumps or sideways shuffles or things of that nature, and then continuing to progress with kind of an explosion and working on exploding out. And then also, the flip side to the explosion and accelerating out of a stance is the decelerating. And so really making sure that you can control your knee when you decelerate and you try and stop and start as quickly as possible. And so it goes through a couple of phases of, one, just building the muscle, two, beginning to incorporate lateral movements, and maybe that might even be part of the last phase, is that lateral movement, but also working on that explosion and the stop and start. And so it's it's been a process. It's you got to be patient with it. I've tend to given a lot of advice out to friends or peers that are continuing or that are going through similar knee injuries, but it's really just making sure that it's strong and ready to go, and if the strength is there, then you can start working on the explosion and moving side to side. Every time I've torn my knee, it's been with a lateral cut, and so that's where it's been. We got to be careful there doing it and just make sure that the muscles are ready. And so yeah, that's my long-winded answer.
Hey, that's okay. That's gives a lot of information to everybody, so they really understand what you've been going through, and it helps a lot for people to understand it. You think your knee, with all the rehab that you're doing, you're going to be ready by the time the season opens on April 26th?
Yeah, the knee feels good. The knee feels great. It feels the best that it's ever felt since the first injury that I sustained, and so it. I've definitely, the furthest I'd ever made it out of a surgery without re-injuring it again was that first time, was about 7 months. And so right now I'm at about, almost a year and a quarter, a year and 2 months. And so I'm by far, further than I've ever gotten in terms of not re-injuring it.
Yeah.
Which is good, which is nice. So, I think there's a couple of things. I think, one, with the surgery, I think repairing both the ACL and the LCL, having that extra stability there has definitely helped, and I've noticed a difference there. And then, two, taking my time and really rehabbing this knee and being able to progress into, start slowly doing some movements during last summer, during the 2013 season, and then leading up to playing with DU. Playing with Outlaws against DU this October was that was a big step. That was nearly a year to the day. It was 1 week short of a year to when I had my last surgery, and so being able to get through that game and I felt pretty good. I was a little quicker than what I anticipated, and I felt good on the field. I think I need to continue to work on getting my wind back. And making sure that I'm in the best shape I can be. Sorry, I got a call coming in now. Just lost my train of thought. But playing in DU was definitely nice to get through that game and feel confident about where the knee stood, and just from this forward, continuing to obviously strengthen the leg and not lose track of that, but the ability now to focus on full body movements, and as opposed to for 3 years really focusing on that left knee and strengthening that leg, the ability now to do full body exercises and run around and jump and do all these different activities, has definitely helped. I'm snowboarding a bit, which I haven't been able to do at all because my knee's been hurt, but I think that I'm being sensible doing that. I'm not doing anything crazy, but I think even that, being able to strengthen the knee and just continue working those muscles has been nice. So, yeah, I think the knee's definitely going to be ready for April, and it's really now just getting my body back into shape and being able to run with these guys and make the quick movements that I need to when I jump on the field.
Okay. So now, how do you feel about being drafted sixth amongst what I believe it was 90 players in the supplemental draft? It must feel pretty good to get picked up so early in the draft.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I've been, I got drafted obviously by the Outlaws as a rookie, and uh, to have their support throughout this process, I've been communicating with the coaches and talking to them, and from the coaches and the players, to know that they're supporting me in the comeback, and they want to see me succeed, and to have the trust, one, to draft me, let alone pick me up in the first round, was unbelievable. I couldn't be any more thankful for them, and I definitely want to prove to them and to the rest of the lacrosse community that it was the right choice. That I can fulfill that draft pick, and I'm excited to prove that to them and make them know that prove to them that they made the right choice there.
Yeah, because that was going to be my next question. Is in all the articles that I've been reading, there's a lot of skepticism out there that the people think that the Outlaws made a bad decision, and on the other hand, I've seen you out there play, and and I know that you've got a lot of heart, and you'll bring a lot to the Outlaws, and so what are your thoughts to their skepticism about what the Outlaws did?
Yeah, I think I can't blame them. I mean, 3 ACL tears, 4 surgeries. I think when people ask me if I'm still trying to play, and I tell them, yeah, I'm coming back, they kind of look at me like I'm crazy. So, for me mentally, I've kind of blurred all these together in my head. It's been kind of one long injury for the past 3 years, and I think I've been able to do that just because they've happened so closely together, because I've never really been able to get back into it since my first one. There's definitely times where I actually sit back and reflect on how long it's been, or how many surgeries I've had, and it's pretty wild. It's pretty good, to think about it, and so I can't blame people's skepticism. I think that if I'd like to think that I looked. I had some flashes of my old self in the DU game. It wasn't where I wanted to be or where I need to be, but I think that it definitely, I left feeling optimistic about where I stood. And, I'd like to think that if people saw that, they might feel the same way. And so, I've always, if people are going to, I like that motivates me. I have no problem people saying that they don't think it was a wise choice, because I'm looking forward to proving them wrong.
Well, good.
So,
Good. So, what do you feel that you're going to be able to do for the Outlaws on defense this season? Do you feel that with all of the young players that have come in and some of the players that they've released, traded, what do you feel is going to be your biggest competition as far as another player on defense out there?
I mean, I think that from a playing standpoint, like we had talked about earlier, I think that my ability to be able to play close or long stick is a nice thing to have. I think that if the team needs me to go somewhere and I can do that, I think that's definitely a positive feature. I think that the Outlaws have obviously picked up some great defensemen, like Simon, and we got Roger back, and we had a phenomenal season last year. The team lost 1 game the whole season, and so to come in and crack a lineup is going to be quite a tough task to do. And so I think, with that being said, being injured all these 3 years, I think that the one thing I can absolutely say is that I've become a smarter player. I know more about the game. I've learned a ton from coaching and still being involved and watching. Something I've never been able to do is just watch. And so I think whether I do end up cracking the lineup or getting on the field or not, I know that I can help a lot of these younger guys. I know that I have some some knowledge now that I can share, and that I'd be happy to share. I think at the end of the day, I want to play, but more than anything, I want to win a championship. And whatever I got to do, whether that's on the field or helping the guys that are playing be their best, I'm happy to do it. And so, I'm looking forward to the play, to the training camp. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of the new guys, and I'm looking forward to joining with these older guys. And I think we've all got one plan or one goal, and that's to win. And whatever it takes to do that, I think we're all in for it.
Yeah. Now, what of all the MLL teams, which team are you looking most forward to playing against?
I think that both. Well, I think Chesapeake is definitely a big one. They've won the last. They won last year, and they've won the last 3 out of 4 or something like that. And so I think you always want to play. You want to beat the champion. You want to make a name for yourself, and I think I think that program, that the Bayhawks in particular have been very successful the last couple of years. So playing them is going to be exciting. I think that both Chesapeake and Charlotte have a bunch of UVA guys on the team, and so playing against those guys after being teammates for 4 years or spending being teammates period, whether it was for 4 or 1, playing against the UVA guys is always a blast. And so I've always enjoyed playing the teams that had a lot of those guys on it. And I remember when I was playing, Chesapeake had quite a few. I know they still do, and it seems like Charlotte's picked up quite a few of the UVA guys as well. And so anytime I get a chance to play those guys, it's a lot of fun.
Okay. So what do you think because I'm an Outlaws season ticket holder, and amazing season last year. I mean, or in 2013, record breaker all over the place. What do you think they need to do to get past that first round? Because that's where it seems to always end, is in the first round of the playoffs, which is tough for, I'm sure, the players and, of course, the fans as well.
I think it's tough to say. I mean, you couldn't have. You could. The season last year was just unbelievable. And the guys. I was fortunate enough to be in the locker room and at all the home games and watching these guys play and seeing them practice and the effort, the focus, the drive, the determination. I honestly had never been that team was something special. It was the focus. I'd never seen a team that had more focus and for one game at a time, and each game was just as important. And it was really heartbreaking to see the loss. I wasn't in Philadelphia, but was watching it, and it wasn't them losing that was heartbreaking. It was just the fact that I knew how much they put in and how much it meant to those guys, and to see them come up short was tough to see.
Yeah.
And so I would be if we could have another locker room and another team like we did last year. I'll take that any day. The result wasn't what we wanted, and we all knew that. We want to win. That's the ultimate goal. But that group of guys, I'd take them up against anyone, anytime. And I think we continue to focus, continue building upon what they did last year, what we did last year. One game at a time, continuing to build, play as a team, and hopefully things come together when they need to. But that was, I don't think there's, I can't say anything negative about that group. That season was just unbelievable and just didn't go the way that we had hoped.
Yeah. It was. It was just the players in general. It was just magic. It was a fun season to watch, and I enjoyed every single game. But just so many records broken, and MLL and Outlaws, and it was great. So,
yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about coming back to the Outlaws? What you're looking forward to, that kind of thing?
I think kind of just going off of what we were just talking about winning. I knew that that when I went into the supplemental draft this year, that obviously there's no guarantees on where you're going to land or if you're going to get picked up at all. But the one thing that I knew was that I wanted to be an Outlaw, and that I didn't want to be competing with there's no other team I'd rather compete with to go win a championship. And to be back on the Outlaws, to have that goal in place, it's the same goal that unfortunately, I guess, but it is the same goal that we've had in place since I was drafted as a rookie. And so to be back on this team with that goal in mind, to go win a championship, I can't wait to get back in the locker room, get on the field with that group of guys, and make that happen in 2014. It's going to be a great year for the team, and I'm looking forward to bringing home the Steinfeld Cup to Denver.
Well, I appreciate all of your honesty and the answers to all your questions, and going into so much depth about your injuries, your love of the sport, everything. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview with me, Ken.
Yeah, Ty, no problem. Yeah, sorry again, not getting back to you.
Hey, nope, not a problem. I appreciate that you even took the time to, in this busy right now time of year with Christmas coming up, to give me a little bit of your time to answer some of my questions.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
I hope you have a great holiday and start to the new year, and I look forward to seeing you at the Outlaws game.
Oh, you will. I'm right there behind the Outlaws bench, and hopefully I will be down on the field getting to take pictures of you guys and doing some interviews too.
Great. Sounds good.
All right. Merry Christmas, Ken.
Thanks. Merry Christmas.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.